So Ghost Watch was released into its early access in July this year, 2022, in case you're watching this in the future. A ghost hunting game similar to the titles such as Phasmophobia and Ghost Exiles. A lot of games have come out to rival Phasmophobia, which arguably is the top of this genre. Can Ghost Watchers scare away its competition though, or will it just go up in a puff of ectoplasm? This is a first impressions of Ghost Watchers. Could it possibly be the scariest game of the year? We will be talking about Ghost Watchers in three main categories. We'll be looking at the visuals, the gameplay, and the story. This game is only in early access, so there is a lot of work to be done, and so this is only a first impressions and not a full review. Explore alone or with 3 friends. Gather evidence to determine what paranormal entity you're dealing with, weaken and capture the ghost, but beware. As you progress, the entity becomes more aggressive, lashing out and even killing you. All the footage seen will be taken from my Twitch as I stream this game live. However, there isn't really a story to Ghost Watchers, so there won't be any spoilers in this video. Let's start with the visual style. The visual style of Ghost Watchers goes towards a realistic feel, with bringing the overall colour palette down though to keep with a darker and gritty atmosphere. Lighting is dim to try and set the mood for the players and increase the fear factor. Torches and candles will light up the general area. Alongside, you will find lights from light switches, in houses and things like that. However, the entity you're hunting can turn these off. The assets in Ghost Watchers are mostly generic Unity store assets. Even the actual locations themselves, you'll be able to find some of these buildings in other horror games. The school, for example, that you go to is half of the high school that you'll find in Phasmophobia, with just a few of the doors blocked off and a few changes to the general assets around the area. Now, being a small dev team, it isn't uncommon for generic assets from stores such as the Unistore. They are being used in more popular rivals already, such as Phasmophobia, like we said with the high school, and also using generic assets in their early release. One thing I find with the locations compared to something like Phasmophobia is they feel darker, they feel even more eerie due to the lighting and lights that have been used here. I also find the lighting itself from torches is better rendered in this game than many of its competitors, aside from the lighting from light switches, because they don't come from the correct source. But even then, they still look better with the way the light's rendered itself. It's just the placement is wrong. The ghosts themselves very much just float around. However, there is a good variety of the different models that are used to represent each of the types of entity that you could be hunting and could be hunting you. I hope the work continues on the game. We will see more animations for these to bring in a little bit more unlife to them, and attack animations on all the ghosts is largely the same and can become stale after a few games. Overall, visually it's clear there is still an early access game here. However, there is nothing bad here that makes the game unplayable. Most of the criticisms here can be solved just through continued development and a general polish. Gameplay-wise, Ghost Watchers plays in a similar style to a lot of the others in this genre, finding evidence like temperature, fingerprints, footprints, EMF, and then you note these down in a journal until you are able to determine what type of ghost it is. The evidence in Ghost Watchers though will also dictate the age and temperament of the ghost, and then with all these things figured out, you can then try and capture the ghost following a series of steps, and these steps completed in the right order until you can start to play Pokemon and basically catch them all. If you enjoyed the evidence gathering of the other sort of core Ghost Hunter games, then you're going to enjoy it here as well. I'm thinking games like Phasmophobia, Ghost Exiles, Ghost Hunter Corps, even Forewarned to an extent. If you like those systems, you will find some enjoyment of those systems here. Where I'd like to see improvements though is currently you can gather all the evidence in the first room after opening the door, and this can make the experience feel a lot less dangerous and generally easier. You can just walk outside during the time the ghost is hunting you. I'd like to see the evidence tied to an area, or at least some of the evidence tied to a room, to force those players to explore further into the location. I barely spent any time in the upstairs main house, I didn't need to. Jump scares are a feature within ghost hunting games that for me are the key piece. I want to be scared, I want to jump, I want to feel on edge. For me, this can make or break a game, and Ghost Watchers lays some foundations that are sadly, they just get stale or you get too desensitized too quickly. The ghost will grab and drag you around the house, and the first few times it's really got me, and I absolutely crap myself. I love this aspect. You'll see things in rooms move, shadows look around corners at you. Some really brilliant interactions that really got me and I really enjoyed. Eerie noises will be found with sharp scratches or sudden thuds to put an unease in the player. But again, Ghost Watchers throws most of its tricks at you the moment you step into the game. The first game you play, you will likely see most of what the game has to offer, and this kind of makes the repeat games less and less scary. And replayability is a big part of ghost hunting games. This is something that I found with the genre in general, and not just a snub with Ghost Watchers itself. However, other titles such as Phasmophobia and Ghost Exiles, they don't throw all of their tricks at you at one time. they extend them out over multiple playthroughs. You won't get every type of jump scare in your first game of Phasmophobia. Ghost attacks do become very repetitive in the way that they're done, and there's a very loud and incredibly obnoxious sound every time it tries to hunt you or grab you or attack you. Oh my god, it's loud, it's very, very loud, and it's very, very annoying after a while. I hope to see a mixture and variety in the ghost attack in the future, both the animations and the sound. Please get rid of that obnoxious sound. And also a bit more difficulty. Ghostwatcher suffers from the problem that a lot of horror genre fall into. It gives me something to either fight back with, or at least protect myself with. There are a number of items that you can hold that will stop the ghost from attacking you. They might have a limited use, which means they run out and you're defenseless. So you think. Sadly, there are a lot of these items to use, and even if you run out, you can just go to the laptop and buy more from the shop in the game. Once you learn how to defend yourself from the ghost becomes very easy. Ghostwatchers doesn't actually have a storyline. Again, this is in keeping with how most of the ghost hunting games play. There's not an overall storyline. But the story within Ghostwatchers, it's the one that you make with your friends. Cringe. No, but really, playing with friends is the way that I love to play these ghost hunting games. Hunting the ghosts together, trying to keep each other alive, and maybe laughing at the ways that they die. Despite some of the negatives I have about the game, when I was playing with friends, we had a ton of fun. Watching new players jump and be scared of the things that I was now used to, the jokes we made, and the ways that we tried to troll each other, though I would never be the person to try and kill anyone. I never tried playing in public lobbies, however I have seen some complaints about them having errors joining, not being filled or being hard to fill up, or just being able to connect to the game when it then tries to launch. I think these are things that can be expected though from a brand new game that is only in its early access, and this is only after a few days of being in early access that I was seeing these complaints. I'd hope these issues get fixed as development goes on, and it seems that the dev team are trying to work on a lot of the problems that people are having, such as bugs and errors within the systems and games. Overall though, Ghostwatchers is a hard game to recommend. It has a lot of flaws and kinks, but a great foundation. As early access, there is a lot of potential in the game to be great if the work continues. The problem with any early access game though is exactly that. If the development continues, there's always a chance that it doesn't, or releases with no more polish than what's currently there. A few visual issues, only a handful of maps to play on, work in the jump scare department to increase the unease and systems to make the game more risky, but still achievable. If you play solo, all these issues will be apparent and likely to take your experience. Co-op though, this is how the game is meant to be played, and brings with it a ton of fun when you're playing it with your friends. So if you and your friends are looking for a new ghost hunting experience, I would say definitely give Ghostwatchers a try, even in its early access state. For its current price, even only a few hours of enjoyment can be worth the buy-in. However, if you're someone looking for a horror experience that's more solo, or depends on the random lobbies, I would actually say for now, hold off and wait. There is potential here, and if Ghostwatchers does live up to that potential, then I would definitely recommend this game. Have you played Ghostwatchers? What did you think? If you haven't played it, will you give it a try? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe for more videos. I would really appreciate any and all support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.